There's a factory in China that most people have never seen. It's not on Instagram. It's not shown in Apple keynotes. But it builds the phone you're probably holding right now. That factory is Foxconn, a place where hundreds of thousands of workers wake up every morning to build the future. But inside the gates of this industrial giant, the reality is far from futuristic. Foxconn isn't just a factory, it's a world. A world powered by human hands, strict routines, steel machines, and silence. And for over a decade, it's been the ghost behind Apple's success. This is the true story behind your iPhone, the human cost of digital perfection, and the dark truth of the most powerful factory on Earth. The iPhone is a symbol of status, but where it's actually made is a symbol of something else entirely. Foxconn, also known as Han High Precision Industry Company, is a Taiwanese multinational that builds products for some of the biggest tech companies on the planet. Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Sony, Google. They all depend on Foxconn's invisible army of workers and machines. Foxconn operates factories all over the world, but its most infamous facility is in Zhengzhou, China, a place so massive it's been dubbed iPhone City. Inside, there are over 350,000 workers. They live in dormitories, eat in cafeteria halls the size of football fields. They punch in at dawn and often leave after midnight, all for one mission: to build as many iPhones as possible. One worker, one part, one step at a time. Zhengzhou Foxconn isn't a factory, it's a megacity, spanning over 2 square miles. The complex contains everything a worker might need: dorms, hospitals, security forces, police stations, and even a fire department. Foxconn doesn't just hire workers, it absorbs them. Most of them are young migrant workers, often between the ages of 16 to 25. They come from poor villages with dreams of stability, of providing for their families. But when they get a Foxconn, the dream changes. Shifts run 10 to 12 hours or more, with minimal breaks. Noise is constant. Floors are cold. Precision is everything. Each day, workers sit at long assembly lines where they perform the same motion over and over. Snap, slide, twist, check, repeat. Hundreds, thousands of times a day. If they slow down, supervisors are there. If they mess up, wages are docked. If they get sick, they're often replaced. Foxconn runs like a machine, but its parts are people. In 2010, Foxconn made international headlines for the worst possible reason: a wave of suicides. In just 1 year, 14 workers jumped to their deaths from Foxconn dormitory buildings. All young, all overworked, all unseen. Most of them left no notes, only silence. The pressure was unrelenting. One worker said, "Every day is the same. I wake up and my soul is gone." In response, Foxconn didn't shut down operations. They installed nets, suicide prevention nets around buildings. They also brought in monks to bless dormitories. They raised wages slightly, added some mental health posters, and the work continued. Critics weren't convinced. They said these weren't isolated incidents. They were symptoms of a machine breaking down from within, a machine powered by human exhaustion. Apple and Foxconn are bound together by one thing: the iPhone. No company on Earth can scale like Foxconn, and Apple knows it. For every iPhone launch, Foxconn mobilizes hundreds of thousands of workers, sometimes hiring entire armies overnight. Apple has publicly stated it audits its supply chain and enforces ethical standards. But behind closed doors, the pressure to deliver is enormous. Each new iPhone must be built, boxed, and shipped to every country, on time. Margins must be protected. Innovation must not slow. Apple has even designed some of its devices specifically for Foxconn's manufacturing lines. That's how deeply tied the two companies are. So when worker complaints arise, when protests happen, when suicides make headlines, Apple speaks carefully, because change, while promised, can't come at the cost of delays. And Foxconn is too big to fail. In 2022, Foxconn's Zhengzhou facility became ground zero for a whole new kind of chaos. COVID lockdowns swept across China, and when the virus hit Foxconn, the factory didn't shut down. Instead, it sealed itself off. Workers were forced into closed-loop management, which meant they had to live and work inside the compound. No going home, no leaving for weeks. Sanitation broke down. Food ran low. People got sick and couldn't get medicine. Rumors spread of workers dying in dorm rooms without ever seeing a doctor. Then the unthinkable happened. Workers began escaping the factory on foot, climbing fences, walking miles through highways. Drone footage showed streams of workers fleeing through fields, some still in their work uniforms. Foxconn tried to replace them by offering massive sign-on bonuses. But when they failed to pay those bonuses on time, the workers rioted. Thousands protested, clashed with police, were beaten, and dragged out of dorms. And for a moment, the world saw a crack in the machine. Foxconn says it's changing. It says the future is automation. Machines don't sleep. Machines don't riot. Machines don't need cafeterias or pay raises. Foxconn has pledged to automate 30% of its operations in coming years. Robots are already assembling parts in silence, with precision and no complaints. For workers, it's a terrifying shift, because while machines may reduce pressure, they also replace jobs. Foxconn's leaders say it's about efficiency, safety, modernizing the supply chain. But critics say it's just the next step in removing humanity from the process. When labor is inconvenient, build a machine instead. When voices get too loud, drown them out with code. We love our phones. We wait in line for them. We unbox them like treasures. But most of us have never thought about where they come from. We forget the thousands of human hours packed into every swipe. We forget the fatigue behind every clean metal edge. That's the genius of tech marketing. It hides the sweat, the concrete, the sadness. Foxconn doesn't want your sympathy. It wants your silence. It's built to be invisible, efficient, forgettable. But every time you pick up your iPhone, remember, it was built in a world you weren't supposed to see. Foxconn is not just a manufacturer. It's a mirror, a reflection of everything we accept in exchange for speed, convenience, and status. We live in a world where technology is expected to be faster every year. Thinner, smarter, cheaper. But behind those upgrades is a labor system that rarely improves for the people doing the work. Foxconn is the best at what it does. It's hyper-scalable, brutally efficient, and fully integrated into the supply chains of every major tech brand. Without Foxconn, the iPhone wouldn't exist as we know it. But that success came at a cost. The cost of workers jumping from rooftops because they couldn't take another day. The cost of people being locked in factories during pandemics. The cost of silence, broken promises, and faces no one ever sees. Foxconn was built for scale, not care. It solves technical problems, not emotional ones. And it exists not because of evil intentions, but because of a system that rewards speed over soul. It's easy to blame Apple, but Apple is just one company in a global structure of efficiency. Amazon, Microsoft, Sony, they all rely on places like Foxconn. And in some ways, so do we. We want phones that work perfectly, arrive overnight, cost less than last year. And someone has to absorb that pressure. So what do we do with this knowledge? We keep asking questions. We demand transparency. We support reforms when they come, and hold companies accountable when they don't. Because even if we can't change the system overnight, we can stop pretending it doesn't exist. Foxconn isn't going anywhere. But maybe, just maybe, our awareness can make sure stories like this don't get ignored. Because this isn't just about a factory in China. It's about what we're willing to look away from, and what happens when people become parts.